bad news for Democrats who have been so against these deportations, because as it turns out, many of us have been correct. A lot of the people that have come here illegally not only committed the first crime of entering illegally, but then they continued with heinous crimes.
Now reporting, David Muir.
Good afternoon. We're coming on with breaking news at this hour. Prosecutors are about to hold a briefing over the horrific firebomb attack targeting a group trying to bring attention to the hostages still being held in Gaza. That demonstration in Boulder, Colorado, the Justice Department calling it an anti-Semitic act of terror. You're looking at the suspect right there, Mohammed Solomon, appearing in federal court today. He's now charged with federal hate crimes. On the state level, 16 counts of attempted first-degree murder. Let's listen to the press conference.
Mohammed, just a nice Colorado man, right?
I'm Bishop Gruelle, the acting U.S. Attorney for the District of Colorado. On behalf of myself, my office, and the entire Department of Justice, I want to express my heartbreak and my support for the victims, their families, and the community of Boulder. Mohammed Sabri Solomon, age 45, with the commission of a hate crime under 18 U.S.C. Section 249. When that offense includes attempted murder, the statutory maximum federal sentence is life in prison. No one should ever be subjected to violence of any kind, but our laws recognize that such violence is particularly pernicious when someone is targeted because of their race, their religion, or their national origin. According to our complaint and the charges brought by DA Doherty's office, Mr. Solomon stated that he had been planning this attack for a year, and he acted because he hated what he called the Zionist group. But what the charges allege that he did was to throw Molotov cocktails at a group of men and women, some of them in their late 80s, burning them as they peacefully walked on a Sunday to draw attention to Israeli hostages held in Gaza. And when he was interviewed about the attack, he said he wanted them all to die. He had no regrets, and he would go back and do it again. He said that he had previously tried to purchase a firearm, but resorted to the Molotov cocktails when he could not purchase a gun because he was not a legal citizen.
Let's hear that one more time about how he wasn't able to get a gun, for all the people who are gun activists and who think if we just got rid of all the guns, it would solve the problem of crazies. Now, I understand that crime can happen anywhere, and crime can happen even with American citizens. I get that, right? But why perpetuate it by inviting it in?
He said he wanted them all to die. He had no regrets, and he would go back and do it again. He said that he had previously tried to purchase a firearm, but resorted to the Molotov cocktails when he could not purchase a gun because he was not a legal citizen. I remind you that Mr. Solomon is presumed innocent until proven guilty. My office and our partners hope justice will help heal the people in this community and in the communities throughout the country shaken by yesterday's attack. We fully intend to hold Mr. Solomon accountable for his actions, and these charges are the first step.
But are we going to hold the Biden administration responsible? How many lives have been lost on Biden's watch? And yes, again, horrible things can happen on anybody's watch, but the Biden administration perpetuated this. This is a person who didn't even belong here. And then for us to be shamed and gaslit by the mainstream media and by the powers that be in the Democratic Party, calling us racist if we care about these things.
Last week, I had the chance to exclusively embed with ICE agents while they made some of these arrests. Many of them illegal aliens with very violent, egregious criminal histories, like this Salvadoran man who's on his country's most wanted list with an Interpol Red Notice warrant for aggravated murder and aggravated kidnapping, and another Salvador native convicted of child rape. We're told he was deported back in 2017. He snuck back in illegally and was found living right next to a children's playground.
Is that unusual out here?
Not in Massachusetts. It's not unusual. Due to the open border policies, we are finding that plenty of people who have been previously deported and committed heinous crimes and were removed from the country are now back here, just living among us. And now that's our job to go round them up.
A lot of the horrific crimes that are happening let alone all the fentanyl that has been pouring in. But again, thank God we do have an administration now that is in support of safety. And that's exactly right. And I even spoke directly to an ICE agent, and he said, you know, the thing is, a lot of people keep saying, oh, they're going after grandma and the children. Again, just come here legally, because they don't want to. They don't want to spend their time with grandma and the children unless the children are not with really grandma and they're being trafficked. That's another topic, right? That's what we're discussing here. But if they're just the innocent grandma and child and whoever, no, come here legally. They want to handle these criminals, and you're getting mixed up in the system, and it's harming everybody.
Officials say at least 8 people were injured at the event held in support of Israeli hostages in Gaza. It was a disturbing scene. Smoke rising after the FBI says a man used a makeshift flamethrower and threw an incendiary device into the crowd. Among the injured was a Holocaust survivor. One of the people who attended the event told CNN. Witnesses described the chaos. All right, there is a suspect under arrest this morning. Officials have identified him as 45-year-old Mohammed Sabri Solomon. He was seen shirtless, carrying 2 bottles. You can see it there. The FBI says he shouted, "Free Palestine."
Person, Solomon, according to police, showed up with his makeshift flamethrower with Molotov cocktails. The witnesses describe how he was just dousing people and trying, people were running to their aid, trying to basically put out the flames with water bottles, we're told. 4 women, 4 men injured in this, all brought to hospitals. 2 were actually had to be air flighted. As John mentioned, one of those victims, a Holocaust survivor. Let's hear more from the governor there in Colorado.
I've walked by the way, these folks who most weeks are there, reminding us that the hostages are still being held by Hamas. And to think that they would be attacked viciously and targeted simply because of their political beliefs in this country in this day and age is just completely, hard to believe, frankly. We want to make sure that, again, no matter what your viewpoints are in our state, that you feel safe. And in particular, now a lot of members of our Jewish community feel particularly threatened by this act of terrorism.
Well, I'm impressed that Polis even calls it terrorism, right? But he doesn't understand that he's caused this mess. He's caused this mess by making this an asylum city. And for him to even say that, we're supposed to feel safe here in Colorado. No, we're not safe. You just passed a bill that says if your kid comes home from school and saying they're a boy when they're a girl, if you call them by their birth name, you could go to jail. That's not safe. How is that safe for anybody? Polis has created such a mess of Colorado. It's disgusting. But let's check in with President Trump and what he had to say about this terrible disaster. Yesterday's horrific attack in Boulder, Colorado will not be tolerated in the United States of America. He came in through Biden's ridiculous open border policy, which has hurt our country so badly. He must go out under Trump policy. Acts of terrorism will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. This is yet another example of why we must keep our borders secure and deport illegal anti-American radicals from our homeland. My heart goes out to the victims of this terrible tragedy and the great people of Boulder, Colorado.
Let's go ahead and listen now to one of those witnesses.
I'm totally shaken up. I work on Pearl Street. I've been working on Pearl Street for 15 years. I do shows. And I'm always on the street. I know everyone. I see everyone. I know the homeless people. I know the people that run the businesses. And it's like, these are the people, this is the community. It's super traumatic. I'm like totally shook up right now. I think I'm not sure what to think. It's like, I'm here all the time. So yeah, I've seen a lot of crazy stuff on Pearl Street, but not anything like that.
That's the thing for me. I did my undergrad here. I can't tell you how many times I've walked up and down this strip, right? You see stuff. But
you always see stuff.
But this feels like something just a totally different. I don't want to say it can't happen here because anything can happen anywhere, but this is one of those places, right, where it almost feels like it can't happen.
Yeah, it shouldn't happen here. Pearl Street's got still some of the old magic still exists here, but it's different. Boulder has changed. Pearl Street has changed. And, there's things, I see stuff all the time. And I'm like, really? You know, now there's like security guards in front of the bathrooms so people don't smoke meth in the bathrooms. You know, that's the truth. It's out there. Things, it's dirtier than it used to be. It's not as safe as it used to be, but you don't expect to see it at that level.
Andrew's right. What? Go. No, right.
You can edit this stuff out. Like, you don't have to talk about meth on, but I've seen it, dude. I've seen people.
But they do have to talk about meth because that's the problem. It's all connected. The more you start seeing how the whole thing is connected, fentanyl pouring in, meth pouring in, people, drug addicts on the street, decriminalizing criminals, making citizens criminals for no reason, calling you racist if you care about people who want safety. And finally, the Democrats are being exposed for this. It's just so sad that this has happened. And it's so sad that people keep voting for this.
What do you feel when you think about something like that happening in a place like this that's normally so peaceful?
Well, I feel a little upset because it's supposed we have in a country in the first world, so that these things is supposed can happen, you know, because in my country is something like that is very irregular, you know, because I came from Latin America, so you can see those things every day. But here, looking at other things, I'm very, very close to my work. Is very, very scared, you know.
Is he racist for saying that? In my opinion, no. It's just, it's crazy. These Democrats who keep voting for this stuff, I don't understand. It's like Trump said, do they just hate America? It doesn't make sense to me. I reiterate, I'm very grateful that we have people who do care. I've been saying this for a long time. I was very concerned about the children who are being trafficked in and saying that they have a sponsor coming in with their parent. And we've missing 300,000 children, right? Well, it turns out a lot of these kids have been trafficked. And when I was talking in a few videos ago about Tom Homan and ICE going in to schools potentially, and again, the Democrats saying that's terrible, and Denver Public Schools even said that's terrible, we won't let ICE in here. And I thought to myself, what if one of those kids is with somebody dangerous? Hello? I mean, they're just protecting criminals, and I think some people don't even realize that they are. Let me know in the comments. Do you think they know they're protecting criminals? Many, I think, do, and some just don't. But watch this.
The Trump White House currently facing a backlog of thousands of reported cases of illegal child migrants being victims of human trafficking. According to HHS, the Biden administration failed to investigate more than 7,000 cases reported as part of a 65,000 case backlog. HHS whistleblower Tara Rodas joins us now. Tara, I know this is an issue close to your heart. It's close to mine as well. Tell us what's happened since you have been a whistleblower during the last administration. What's been happening now, and about these 7,000 cases that the Biden administration failed to probe?
Yes. Well, good morning, Rachel. It's a pleasure to be here. And thank you so much for shining a light on what we now know was the Biden-Harris administration government-sponsored, taxpayer-funded child trafficking. So the new administration under President Trump has taken unprecedented action to find these children. Now, sadly, they were stonewalled here in the beginning. They're starting to get access to the data. Senator Grassley, who has been a huge champion for these endangered children, has been on the case, putting forward subpoenas, putting forward cases. And the Trump administration, miraculously, in just a 4-month period, has gone through about 28% of that backlog. There's much more work to be done to save these endangered children. And thank you so much for shining a light on this. I think America needs to know about this great humanitarian crisis that we have with these endangered children.
America needs to wake up. The people who are still on the side of criminals, maybe not even realizing it. It's if you want to enter the United States, enter legally. There's a way to enter legally, period. Because what has happened with these open borders is it's poured in fentanyl, it's poured in a lot of trafficking, it's poured in a lot of criminals who are just living here off the system and committing crimes. But the worst part is that Democrats seem to be celebrating it. So let me know in the comments what you think. And if you want to see Tom Homan expose AOC, if you've seen that, it's worth visiting again because it is so good, because it just exposes the way that the Democrats are thinking and how it is endangering